Syrian media claims at least 12 civilians were killed by a US-led coalition airstrike in Deir province. We contacted the US Central Command for clarification. It says the strikes targeted ISIL infrastructure. Our correspondent Murad Gazdiev has been covering the anti-ISIL advance in both Syria and also in Iraq. He looks next at the similarities in the US-led coalition military tactics in both those countries.
The US-led airstrike in question reportedly targeted Al-Mayadeen, one of ISIS's remaining strongholds in Syria, located about 40 kilometers to the south of Deir. The airstrike apparently, according to these various sources, killed at least 12 civilians, most of them women and children. We've reached out to the US-led coalition. They say that they have no information regarding civilian casualties, but that they're investigating, as they usually do.
On the 16th of September, coalition military forces conducted one strike near Mayad in Syria that engaged an ISIS tactical unit and destroyed an ISIS watercraft.
This happened hundreds and hundreds of times in Mosul. It is a known ISIS tactic to surround themselves with civilians. ISIS jihadists make a point to fight in buildings which are occupied by civilians. This is their human shield, their anti-aircraft shield. They hope, often in vain, that US-led coalition jets will avoid hitting ISIS if there are civilians around them. But as we've seen in Mosul, often that isn't the case. 3 weeks ago, rescuers in Mosul told me that they expect to dig up as many as 5,000 more bodies out of the rubble, out of destroyed and collapsed buildings in the city of Mosul, most of them women and children.
Yeah, still such a mess there, isn't it? Well, we heard from the director of the Syrian Affairs Forum, Gnossos. He told us that despite numerous incidents of civilians being killed in military operations, the US-led coalition doesn't seem to have changed its approach to airstrikes.
Since the start of the operations in Mosul, time and again, I think we lost count on the many times when the United States wanted to hit an ISIS or a Daesh target, and then suddenly there is a huge massacre taking place. And this is really hurting and reflecting negatively on the United States' effort to, establish its own project, sort of, or own regime, protected regime in the eastern part of Syria.